Hi, everybody. Today here with me, I have Natalie B. Hi, Natalie.
Hi, George.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Love to see your smiley face. Like, shh. Okay. Thank you for joining me today. That's one thing I always ask all my guests to tell us first is how do we pronounce your full name properly?
Properly. Natalie Bayersdorfer.
Let me try. Natalie Bayersdorfer.
Yes. However, if you were from Germany or that region, my understanding, it would be Bayersdorfer.
So, what do your parents say about your last name? Which one do they pronounce?
Well, wait a minute. That's my married name. My
Oh,
maiden name was Bono, like you two Bono,
yeah,
like
yeah.
Bono. I went from 4 letters to 12 letters.
I love it.
I don't even fit in the little boxes. Like when you have to put like your last name in the boxes, it's always like Byers. That's it. Doesn't fit.
Can you say that one more time? How do you say the last name?
Bayersdorfer.
Love it. I'm not going to pronounce it because I know I'm going
Nope.
to get it wrong.
B.
So, can you please introduce yourself to us? Like who you are, where you're from, just the basic background.
Yes. I am Natalie, and I am born, bred, and raised in Boston, Massachusetts.
Fantastic. So, I know you from the Strong family, but I know that you have done more than being a master trainer in Strong Nation. So, first of all, can you tell us when you were growing up, were you always athletic, into sports, etc.?
Yes. It's funny. I'm an athlete by nature, but I always love to dance on the side. But I am an athlete, and it's being active my whole life. I played basketball, I ice skated, I did soccer, I dabbled into a little cross country. I don't like to run for fun. I mean, I'd rather be chased by something than run for fun. So but I loved basketball. So I was always, George, very much into sports, with basketball being like my thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you like professionally playing basketball, competed?
I played through high school and in college, and I studied abroad, and I was an ATC Greek Flame. I played for Greece for a short while.
And you studied in Greek?
I did. I studied in Greece.
Wow. I didn't
Yep.
know that. That's very cool. Do you speak Greek?
Nah,
Wow.
that means yes.
I
so
guess.
so
Yes, you.
I read
Oh,
that. And I know how to say, "Can I have a beer?" Still, I've lost some of the language for the most part, but I still remember somehow how to order a beer in
how
Greek.
long were you there for?
I was there for 5.5 months.
Ah, okay. Cool.
Yeah, but I learned the language. I was completely submerged. Is that the right word? Emerged or submerged in the culture, and I had to learn the language.
Was it difficult?
Wicked difficult. Here's my Boston. It was wicked difficult because it's completely different set of alphabet.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was rooted, a lot. There was Latin roots. It was such an interesting language to learn and culture, and it was one of the best times in my life. But I played a little basketball there, sure.
Cool, cool. Have you always been working in the fitness field?
It's funny. I started my fitness journey 25 years ago. In college, that was my work study job. I taught high-low. I taught step aerobics with a little leotard and a leg warmer situation, kickboxing, and that started my journey doing it on the side. I did fitness on the side for the last 25 years.
And what were
And
you
then,
doing other than that?
so I have, you buckled up, buckle in. I have a degree in theology and sociology. So I was heavily into wanting to help people go into theology and maybe do campus ministry because I was very involved with my campus ministry at college, volunteerism, and sort of, I didn't know if it was going to be social work or nunnery, but I knew I wanted to help people. And I went in that route. I did some communications and marketing for nonprofits. I was director of marketing for a huge program. I don't know if you've heard of City Year. I think it's all over United States. I don't know if it's global still, but they have the red jackets, the khakis, and the boots, and we'd go out into the field and we'd volunteer.
Wow.
And it was an amazing program. And we started every morning with PT. So we would do push-ups and sit-ups in really big grassy areas, like think Central Park of New York City. That's where we would do it. So people would see us and ask us what we're doing. Well, we're going into schools to help the kids read. We're going to repaint a community, clean up a community. And I was marketing and directing for them. So it was really cool. I loved it.
Are you still doing anything related at this moment?
I am. It's funny. I still am. When I was at Stonehill, that was my college. I was part of the Alana Diversity Group, and I just am sitting on their board now, helping with diversity and inclusivity, and going out into community, and volunteering and also mentoring. So I still like that aspect of helping, and I teach a little CCD on the side, the nice religious studies to the kids. That's volunteer.
And and on the side, you also teach fitness full time, pretty much.
So yeah, well, that's my main gig now, because it's funny, when I had my first child, I gained 80 pounds,
Mhm.
and I got laid off, and I found Zumba Fitness, and that's how I lost 80 pounds in 2008 when I started with Zumba. And then I started saying, oh, wow, this is phenomenal. I really enjoy it. It kind of ignited and re-sparked everything inside of me for fitness. I'm like, I can see myself doing this. Like, I love working with people. I love making fitness and health fun. Then I had my second child and I lost my job again. And I said, I never want to work for anybody ever again. I want to work for myself, call my own shots. And I made fitness my main gig.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's been ever since.
Were you always a dancer? Did you always dance?
So I dance for fun on the side. And, so I'm half Puerto Rican, and I'm half Italian, half Puerto Rican, but I never knew my mom. She was from Puerto Rico, and she died when I was born.
Mhm.
So I've always, wondered about that Puerto Rican side of me. So salsa, I also love the chip and salsa, but salsa runs in my veins. So it was a beautiful journey within Zumba Fitness to do salsa and all these beautiful rhythms. And then in 2000, I think in 12, George, they started the Jammer Rhythms program. So
Wow.
I was one of the first jammers to become a salsa jammer, a rhythm jammer for salsa. So it was super special. So I think the dancing is kind of organically in me.
Yeah.
I think I'm a better educator than I am a dancer, but I can fake it till I make it. And you
Yeah.
give me a couple beers, I'm the best dancer in the room.
Who was your B1 Zest?
And Saldi.
Of course, in Boston. That's right. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. Did you teach any other formats before Zumba, like fitness teaching, other than aerobics and those kinds?
Yeah, I did like just step, kickboxing, high-low, and weights. I never did any of the other specialty programs, but it's funny because then I went into personal training. Once I started with Zumba, it was my gateway back into fitness. And from there, I've layered on, I got my spin, I got pound, TRX, turbo kick, yoga, Pilates. It's just been a beautiful segue to everything else.
Yeah, when I was teaching full time at another gym that I worked at. Now it's closed. I was teaching 6, 7 different programs a week, and I had to memorize. A lot of them actually had choreography that I had to memorize.
Oh my
My brain was just exploding at the time. I used to teach 17 classes a week, and on top of that, I got 3 capoeira trainings a week, and I was in my mid 20s. I was okay. I was surviving because I was like younger, have more energy, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, slowly when I got towards like my 30s, I'm like, all right, that's a little too much. Yeah, I actually did full time group X teaching for a good 4 years, and I've been teaching 70 classes a month. 70.
I like the diverse. Did you like the diversity though of
Yeah,
having all those different formats?
yeah, absolutely. It's actually quite fun. The only thing is when there's a new release that comes out, you have to
Yeah,
memorize all of it, and your head just want to explode.
exactly. Absolutely. It's funny that you say that, because now in my in my 40s, if you will, I am much more centered around personal training and small group training, and maybe working more of the management background of fitness and more directing as opposed to actively teaching.
But very cool. I like from just like talking right now, I find that I think you're very put together. You know exactly what you want to do, and you have plans. You're very organized, which is the opposite of.
Well, wait till I stand up and you see my pajama pants on the bottom.
All right, so that well, like I said, I met you through the master trainer team. So
Wait,
wait,
wait a minute. I dined with you at the Cheesecake Factory when you came to Boston.
no, with Liana.
Yes, when you and Peter did a masterclass in Cambridge, and Liana hosted you, and Anne and Liana, my friend Andrew, were there. I couldn't
You were
make the
there?
I couldn't make the class for whatever reason, and I felt so bad. I'm like, Liana, I'm so sorry I couldn't support it. She's like, just come to Cheesecake Factory. She's like, you have dinner with us. And I remember I came and I met you guys briefly there, and I was so mad I missed you being here because she was so happy to host you.
Oh my God, I did not know you were there. That was like
I was there.
10 years ago.
I know, man. I know. And to Bulbacito. Listen, I was a Zumba instructor. Zin 26 is one of my faves still.
That was 8. Wait, was it a live or one-on-one that you saw?
That was your one-on. You did one-on-one for
28. It was
26.
28. 28.
28. Sorry.
The white
Yep.
background, the green pants, and the black top.
I mean, don't. I see the whole dance right now. I loved it. That was one of my favorites. Yeah.
The flamenco. It's actually on Sing or Zin now right now.
No, is it really?
Yeah, that song, yes, because it's one of the originals, like Zuma originals.
Oh my God, I love
I don't
it.
want to
Yep.
look at it again because number one, I looked horrible.
No.
I was
You
like,
were young and spiteful. You still look young and spiteful, but it was youth, man. We got to go back and look at that for the youth.
it's actually there. I refuse to look at it sometimes. And people are like, "Hey, George, look at what I found. I just joined Zen and took a B1, and then I saw that you're actually on it. I'm like, don't show it to me."
Like, they're like, when I see videos, wait, I have to tell you, like, this is my first Zumba class that I ever taught. Everybody left.
What did you do?
I took the training, and a week later, I'm like, I got this. I can do this. The studio I taught in had no mirrors, and I made a common instructor mistake. I faced the wall, and I just taught the whole class. The class started with 12 people. By the end of the class, I turned around, there were 2 left, and I was like, so I walked out and I said to the lady, I'm like, so I'll see you next week. She's like, no.
Oh,
And that was my first experience. And I learned, I said, girl, you got to practice and get yourself together if you want to make it in this industry. So it was a very humbling moment, but that was my first taste of teaching a class. Everybody
oh my
laughed.
God, I'll be traumatized when I turn around. It's like nobody's
Oh
there.
God. It was like, you ever see the movie Ace Ventura?
Yes, Jim
When
Carrey.
he's in the shower, like crying. That was me when I got home. I was like shame spiraling, playing like REM, Everybody Hurts. And I just
Oh
pulled
my
myself
God.
together and I practiced. And I went to your one-on-one and I practiced and that was it.
Oh, the 28th. Those were the days. I think there's only like maybe one song that I ever used from that volume.
No, really?
Yeah. I don't even remember anything from that actually. It's too long. It's so long ago.
I know.
It's like 10 years ago. It's like 10 years ago. And I actually got my license in 2008 as well.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I was going to ask you some questions, but I think that's that's video number 2. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, George, tell me about XYZ, but no, stay on track.
Okay. So, well, let's say we met at Cheesecake Factory, but I don't remember. So I met you through the Strong Nation Master Trainer team. How did you get into become a master trainer?
Okay, so I saw the program when it rolled out and was being previewed, and I'm like, it was like coming home because, again, I love the dancing, but athletics and the power of the program and, the messaging, the strong, I'm like, oh man, that's really resonating with me. I want to be involved in that. So I started teaching it, and I did a couple things for the home office with focus studies for it. So I was kind of, talking with them a little bit about, some different possibilities. And then Liana hosted Eileen to come to one of her huge classes that she used to hold. And I was the MC for it. And Josie Gardner, who I love, was like, I want you to meet Eileen and talk to her. So I talked to her and I said, I would love to see what the possibilities about learning more about maybe joining the team, XYZ. And at the time I was still jamming. So I saw it, this was, I think, March. Cut to that following February, I saw that there was an opening. There was an opening for a master trainer, but not in my area. But I said, you know what? I'm going to submit my application to let them know I'm interested, even though I'm cognizant I might not get it. And it was for like California. I mean, I had 2 babies. Where was I going? However, 4 months later, I'm away with my family, George, at like this Great Wolf Lodge. I have like little wolf ears on. I'm doing a rope climb. My thing's going off. I'm looking on my Apple Watch and I see "Welcome to the Strong Team." I was like, God, I had a harness on. I was like, ah, because I was on a rope. And that was it. That was in June of 2017.
And
And
who
that's
was
when
your master trainer at the time when you took the training the first time?
Irina.
Ah, that's right. In New York?
Yep. No, she had this territory. So I took her training in Rhode Island. And then she ended up being the trainer who helped me join the team as well.
Ah, very, very cool. Nice.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious, what question did you have for me?
Well, I wanted to know if you were always in fitness and in your backgrounds, like growing up. Did you dance or did you know?
Well, I did have a video just by myself, like also from the same playlist, but it's just by myself and explaining to people my background. I want to tell people my story first before I interview other friends of mine. So it's actually
That
there.
might,
But
wait, I gotta go. That might have been when I went to go read about the lactose squirrel. So I'll go back and I'll watch that one, George. I'm sorry. I apologize. I should have watched it and I will.
no, I mean it's there. But no, I only started dancing when I was in university because I got bored in the summer. Most kids, especially from like me, I went to school in Canada. People from Hong Kong went to school overseas. They would come home over the summer holidays, but I didn't because it was like SARS 2003 and a certain year that I just didn't feel like going anywhere. So I was
Yeah.
bored in the summer. Other than my part-time job, I decided to go check out whatever's available in school, and they had hip hop classes. I'm like, cool, fun. So I joined the classes, and it was actually taught by a student there. And then by the end of the summertime, and then she was like, "Hey, we actually have a team in school. Why don't you audition? Because we kind of need boys anyway." So I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I'll go." And I got in right away because they need boys. We had like 4 boys auditioned and then a bunch of girls, and they took all 4 boys plus 1 girl. So I got in, and then I started dancing with those guys, and we competed, we did performances, and then I taught the following summer because they need somebody who to teach summer classes too. So I taught dance there, and then upon graduation, I went back to Hong Kong, and then I just moved back, and I kind of wanted to go to the gym for free. So I went to a gym. I'm like, "Hey, I taught dance in Canada. Are you guys hiring?" They're like, "Yeah, we actually need dance instructors." So I got hired right away.
That's amazing.
So that's how
Question.
I happened to dancing first, and then slowly, because of the whole, I saw other group fitness after my hip
Yeah.
class. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna try it out. So I did a body combat class. I died because I wasn't athletic. I didn't like do any physical activity other than dance, which is totally different from like fitness world. So, but then I picked up more different classes. I liked it. I took the instructor's training, and I became a full-time instructor.
That's unbelievable. What were your studies though when you went to university? What did you want?
Computer engineering. I got a degree
Stop.
in engineering. Yeah.
Do you still do anything with computer engineering today?
I graduated in 2004, and
Okay.
I've not used any of my skills since then. And I believe technology has actually moved on.
From where your studies concluded,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. That's
So,
so interesting.
yeah, so I've been teaching fitness ever since, pretty much. I did 1 year of computer work at a
Yep.
university in Hong Kong, helping some professors, but that's
Yep.
the only thing computer related that I did, and the rest was just all fitness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I never
Yeah.
had to go in for an interview for any job because I've been just teaching the entire time.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
unbelievable. And now you're your own boss to some extent with
Yeah,
your
yeah,
studio. Oh,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yep. Well, that's very cool talking to you today to get to know you a little bit better. But always at the end, I would do like a lightning round, just like
Okay.
I don't even have anything prepared. So, um, where would you want to visit right now? Like a place, a country?
Oh, Italy. Food. Done.
Me too. Me too. Like that is the place to be for me. Italy, Europe, maybe Spain, but Italy actually has
Ah,
my heart.
done.
Italy actually has my heart. Yeah.
Yep.
What
Italy.
would be your goal in fitness that you still have not achieved, but you have like wanting to do this and that?
I want my kids to take a stake in fitness and wellness. So they're active, but I want them to adopt the mental mindset of, the journey of fitness isn't just physical, it's mental and taking care of yourself because I believe in it so much. So that's my goal, is to pass this on to my family.
How old are they now?
12, and my daughter's 9, going on 46.
So cool.
Yeah.
That's one question I find it interesting because I asked a few people already. Who is your inspiration in fitness? Even if people that I don't know, it's totally okay. But who is your inspiration, your mentor?
My mentor, I've had a couple through the years, but the person who ignited me to get on the Zumba journey, Deirdre O'Connor. She
Okay.
doesn't teach anymore. She was from Ireland. She lived in Boston, and my first Zumba class was with her. And she just, George, she's one of those people that you look at, you're like, oh man, she doesn't even realize, like, just there's that Z factor, that it factor that you can't teach somebody.
Yeah.
She just was exuberant, and she was just incredibly supportive. And this was 10 years ago. We are still very close to this day. And she was just somebody who taught me that make people want to come, not think of it as a punishment, make them think of this as a reward to be healthy, to move your body, and to breathe. So that's something that I took with me. And for that, she will always be one of the people I look up to.
Wow.
And obviously, all the people we're exposed to, my colleagues too. Like, I mean, you guys are freaking unbelievable. And it all comes from the top with Eileen, who is, I revere as a woman, as a mom, as an instructor. She's just, and all of my colleagues are like that too. So
yeah,
we have a lot of mentors. So.
My first mentor, like in fitness in general, well, her name is Michelle Dean. She's from Australia. When I started teaching in fitness back in 2004, she was my mentor for like 3 years, and then she moved back to Australia. But then she pretty much taught me a lot of things. Like right now, because I'm a fitness instructor, I think it's a lot of it's because of her. So about 4 years ago, I got a chance to present in Philex in Australia, along with Jared Tucker and Carolina Arias, the Zest. So I was at Philex, and I was looking around like, would I see Michelle? Would I see Michelle in Australia? And then a friend of mine, she knows Michelle, and she knows me too. She's like, hey, George, Michelle Dean is right outside. I'm like, you know what? I'm coming out right out. And I ran outside, and I caught her, and I started crying. And I'm like, oh, I've been seeing you in 10 years. And then if anybody asks me about like my mentor, I always like refer you as my mentor the whole time. And it's like, oh, I'm so grateful and so happy. And then she saw my social media and stuff, like, I'm so proud of you for what you have achieved. And I was just like, I still have photos. My friend actually took photo of me crying, like hugging her.
So you're now Michelle Dean to so many.
Aww.
You know that?
Aww.
That's how the ripple continues. You know, before we recorded, everything you're doing, you're somebody else's Michelle, you know?
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I think we're doing pretty well with time, 20 minutes. It's all right. It's all cool. I think it's great that we get to connect and let people see the other side of us instead of, okay, this person is presenting this class, and then we saw them on a poster and a flyer. So now we actually get to know who we are.
Absolutely. No, thank you so much. This was awesome.
Thank you for joining me. I'm going to stop this video, and then I will see the rest of MT hopefully within the next month or two. Hopefully I can get everybody who speak English, because I don't think I can communicate with anybody who doesn't speak English. Well, I can barely speak English. Maybe I can make it work. You never know.
Stop it. You need a translator.
All right. Thank you.